Hello everyone, and welcome to the review of Yoru no Kuni, a new action RPG by Gust and Koei Tecmo for the PS4 and Vita. The story is introduced by what would probably be the only CG rendering in this game, wherein the Lord of Night fights and is defeated by a powerful priestess. Upon his death, the Lord rains his blood throughout the earth, infecting living things it touches, turning them into monsters, or blue blood. Humanity has since then lost its ability to come out at night in fear of being attacked, thus the title of the game. You play as Arnis, a half-yosei, half-human agent who has the ability to fight with blue bloods as well as summon servants of her own. She is charged with protecting the newly selected priestess, Lulitis, the other protagonist who also happens to be an old friend, and possibly a love interest. When you find out that Lulitis must sacrifice herself to strengthen the seal on the Lord of Night, you begin your torn journey towards one of multiple endings in which you can choose your friend or the fate of the world. The progression in this game is mostly linear and takes place over a map with waypoints. Unlocking these waypoints can be done by simply retiring through doors throughout the dungeons that warp you back to your hotel. Once you've unlocked them, you can warp back at your pleasure as you continue forward in the story. The world of Yoru no Kuni feels extremely small due to the size of the main hub as well as due to the sheer lack of characters. And though there is a clear "the end is coming," the story remains curiously flat. There is nothing in the way of a climax, and though the characters themselves know that the resurrection draws near, the little urgency they show is hard to relate with. This is probably because it's hard to relate with the characters to begin with. Arnis and Lulitis only really talk about their past with each other, and their current relationship feels as flat as the story. The merchant continues to look for things that make him a quick buck. The virgin, the scientist, keeps searching for things to experiment on, and finally the hotel manager endlessly worries about his hotel that no one visits. If you want a break from the main story grind, you can always take time and visit the arena at the lower levels of the hotel for a multitude of run-of-the-mill challenges like time attacks for rewards. You can also do side missions for other characters that take you back to previous areas and explore their stories a little bit further. Gameplay is similar to many Koei Tecmo games like the Musou series, wherein waves of mobs spawn and can be disposed of by combos and skills. Unfortunately, there aren't many combos, nor is there much reason to change your combos aside from change of pace. Thus, you'll often find yourself repeating the same combos just to get through the wave and progress with the story. Combos aside, there seems to be little in the way of impact when your attacks connect. The sound effects are lackluster, and it feels like you're swinging at air whenever you hit something, even when fighting one of the large bosses in the game. And while the combat is fairly simple, variety is introduced by the ability to change your weapon to a greatsword, hammer, twin blades, and a crossbow, as well as transformations to one of a variety of forms. Leveling your main character is a different experience from the minions who gain experience and levels upon going back from a dungeon. Living up to its fanservice standards, the game puts you to sleep and strips you to a shred of clothing and justifies it by increasing your sync with your weapon, or something. Levels can be gained by offering the blue blood you obtain from kills to the sword, thus unlocking new skills and weapons. But to make things more complicated than they need to, they added another system to obtain skills, and other perks like more equipment and minion team slots. Points for these can be had through leveling up and selecting activities Arnis would do throughout the day, and gaining points in one of 4 or 5 categories like stamina or mental health. But while the game does have a low level cap, the blood required for each subsequent level multiply each time, making the game grindy regardless. The graphics were average at best, but that's also to be expected from a low to mid budget game, as well as having a Vita port. The character details are okay by current gen standards, but there are also some questionable graphical choices in Arnis where her clothing seems more like it's painted on her skin than actual clothes. The game also feels lazily done when during an argument, the girl's faces switch on and off from smiling, which is a default, to an angry face, and continues in that pattern. There was a lot missing in this game, and it was a challenge to even get through the first playthrough, not due to difficulty, but rather the gameplay and story. The world is hardly believable, characters felt like they were made in a rush, and many of the cutscenes were recycled throughout the game. The battle, the forefront of this game, was extremely disappointing. And from the first couple chapters, I was hoping that the Moonwood phase, the Lord would revive, just to get the game over with and deleted. Unfortunately, this game will continue to stay in the dark for me, with a score of 2.5 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I do plan on making more videos like this in the future. So if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you liked, shared, and subscribed to my channel. So until next time, this is Max signing out. Peace out!